one nation, under God, indivisible, with equality and justice for all.
Your sweater matches the curtains, Mary.
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to the April 21st, 2020 Board of Selectmen meeting. On the agenda, we have public service announcements, department reports, town administrator, police department, Department of Public Works. We have a few acceptance of donation, appointment, retirement, a few more acceptance of donations to the town. We have our COVID-19 update. We do have listed town administrators review. However, there has been a few glitches, so we will be postponing this till our May meeting. Okay, have to read the famous. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 38, Section 18, the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Sturbridge Board of Selectmen will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information in the general guidelines for remote participation can be found on the town's website at www.sturbridge.gov/town-administrator/pages-how-access-virtual-meetings. This meeting, members of the public who wish to listen or watch the meeting either online via the town's on-demand video broadcast on cable television on channel 191, or dial into the meeting at 774-304-1455. Enter 1428 pound for the meeting number and 1234 for the access code. This phone number is only active for public during public meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite that effort, we will post audio and/or video recordings, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings on the town's website as soon as possible after the meeting. Okay, before I get to public service announcements, I do have another announcement to make. That on behalf of the Board of Selectmen, I would like to thank the town's employees for continuing to provide the essential services the community needs. Frontline employees in the police, fire, Department of Public Works, Board of Health Department, Council on Aging, and Inspection Services are engaged every day in making sure the citizens of Sturbridge are receiving the services that they need. The town's long-term partner, Veolia Water, has been working continuously to make sure the water and sewer systems continue to operate without a hitch. Other departments continue to provide support for these frontline departments and the community as a whole. Further, as a new normal has been established, we would like to thank the boards and committees that have adapted to this new normal and are meeting again to conduct public business. It has been a challenging time, but thank you all for your efforts and your service to the community. Okay, any other public service announcements? Mary?
That was beautiful, Mary. I know it's going to come up under old business, the COVID-19 update, but residents continue to ask. Now the state is publishing the amount of positive cases for town on a town-by-town basis, and it's updated every Wednesday. I just want residents to know that they used to only do it by county, as we know. And Sturbridge, I just checked, had 17 as of last Wednesday. But it will be updated again. And our own website, the Board of Health, the local Board of Health, is publishing the amount of active cases. But if you want the running total, then that's on the state website.
Gee. Chase?
I have none. Just wishing our residents a safe and, happy quarantine here.
Okay. Andrea, Chase's name is coming up as Sam.
I'm on my wife's computer, so.
Oh. I didn't know. Well, we all know you, Chase. Priscilla, any public service announcements?
No.
Mike?
I just wanted to say that what you had said, Mary, in the beginning was very nice, and we all appreciate everything our employees do on a day-to-day basis. And just wanted to back you up on what you said as your statement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda we have comment reports. Town administrator?
Oh, I get to go first. Awesome. I emailed my report out to the board over the weekend, just to give the highlights. As Mary mentioned in her message, the boards and committees are starting to meet again and using the remote meeting. There are glitches, but this is the new normal. The planning board actually had a very good meeting with a public hearing component, and we did get someone to call in on the public line and make a comment, so I think that went well. And I think the remote meetings are working and allowing us to continue operations. The Finance Committee began their process of reviewing the FY21 budget last Thursday, and they will continue that process for the next 5 Thursdays. The purchase of 501 Main Street was completed on Friday. The deed was recorded and the transaction was completed, so the town now owns 501 Main. We'll look to getting an engineer, or do a search for an engineer to design the improvements and bring that back to town meeting for consideration. The position of Economic Development Coordinator has been advertised. We're waiting to the end of the month. We're taking resumes till the end of the month. The position of Emergency Management Coordinator closed on Friday. There were a number of applications. Chief Ford is reviewing those, and we're completing the recruitment brochure or the recruitment advertisement for the Chief of Police. We hope to have that done this week or early next week so we can get that in recruitment. You see a host of departmental reports. The good news is on our police and fire, and actually for all our town employees, we don't have an active COVID case, knock on wood. There are precautions being taken by all our employees that are out in the field, and I congratulate them on taking all the necessary precautions, and they're doing the right things to keep themselves safe as well as protecting the community. So that's good news. PPE.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yes.
Could I just
Hey,
ask
Mary.
a follow-up question? How many of our first responders have been tested? If you know.
I think less than 5 have been suspect. I know last week we had 3 firefighters, or the week before, or the first is last week, we had 3 firefighters that had to be tested, but they all came back negative.
Good.
Okay.
And do they go to Harrington for their testing?
I believe so.
You know?
Yeah. PPE, we continue to expend PPE, but we've been fortunate enough to get shipments in and donations of PPE, so I think we're at an acceptable level, but we could always use more. We're not facing running out at this point. The departments, other than police and fire and DPW, as I mentioned in the report, DPW has split their shifts up, so they have different employees working different shifts. So the entire crew is not together at once, risking an infection of the entire operation. So my hats off to Butch for arranging that to make sure that he has a crew that can go at any time. The other departments are working from home or splitting their time. There's some office time for some, there's some home time for some. But overall, the town is functioning. Things are going forward. Recreation continues to look for opportunities to enhance the public's at-home experience. My hat's off to Annie and the Recreation Board for coming up with new and innovative ways to kind of keep everybody smiling. It's tough, but they're doing a good job. But other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions on my report. And I definitely want to reach out to, and my hat's off to Leslie Wong and her crew at the Senior Center. She continues every day to get the seniors what they need, whether it be food, whether it be medicine, whether it be contacts or services. She has done an outstanding job for this community during the COVID crisis, and I can't say enough positive things about Leslie Wong.
Anything from the board? Thank you, Jess. But speaking of thank yous, because we weren't all together, I didn't get a chance to thank Barbara. So hopefully when you speak to her, let her know the board was appreciative of her phoning in. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
And next we have Police Department, Chief Ford. Good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry I don't have a camera on my computer here at work. Otherwise, you'd be able to see me as I can see you online right now. I want to begin with our February report of the police department. A pretty standard report that went along with our training and operational events. You can see that we're continuing through our training to get crisis intervention training integrated into the department, and we're working towards 100% for that training. If there are any questions about February in that report that you have, I'd be happy to answer those.
Okay, anyone have a question? Chief, I have just a small question. On the accident status report on page 24, the accident down at the bottom says Dunkin' Donuts, Holland Road and Main Street. I assume that's really just on Main Street. It's really not near Holland Road.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to get to that page. Did you see what number that was again?
On page 24, under the accident status.
My pages are a little bit different than you.
37 AC, I believe. 37 AC.
7 AC.
We'd have to look that accident up. There's a possibility that, obviously those two areas don't intersect, but there's a possibility that it could have been a multiple strike. Maybe something kicked up vehicle, two different locations. I would have to look into that accident report.
It just sounded curious because it's not close. Okay, anyone else have a question? Yeah. Okay, Chief, your March report then?
Okay, moving on to March. Again, another normal month for us until the pandemic took hold, and obviously that affected somewhat of our operations and training. However, we were able to get some training in at the beginning of the month, and then as the restrictions progressed, we shifted our focus to a different operational approach, and it's the same approach that we're in right now, dealing with the pandemic and dealing with our personnel and the fortunate thing we have here is business has been normal. Everyone has been healthy. Everyone's been active, so that we are just continuing to respond to the needs of the community. So there haven't been much changes beyond that March report with respect to the pandemic response. And if there are any questions regarding the additional information that's there, I'd be happy to answer those questions.
Okay, any questions from the board?
I just have the same one I asked of the fire. Has any of your police officers have been tested? Have they stayed safe and healthy with the COVID-19 responses?
Well, yes, our members have stayed healthy. We've had one dispatcher that had a test, a precautionary test, an elevated temperature. The individual had worked out prior to coming in and tested. His temperature was up. However, everything was negative and tested and was quarantined for 7 days and then a follow-up test afterwards. But otherwise, everyone's been practicing universal precautions, and we have not had any issues thus far, thankfully.
Very good.
Anything else from the board? Anything else for us, Chief?
I just wanted to thank the men and women of the Sturbridge Police Department and to thank you for your support. Thank you for the kind words. The men and women of the police department here on all the different shifts and all their capacities continue to put their best abilities forward, and they continue to impress every day with their commitment and dedication to providing the highest quality public safety services to this community at all times and all conditions. So I'm very proud of all of them, and I'm thankful for your recognition and support, and I'll pass it along for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Mary, are you still there?
Yes.
The good thing is that I have access to my computer here, so I've got an instant answer regarding your Holland Road. So it was an event that occurred on Holland Road, turning onto Route 20, and the event ended up in operating under arrest with the accident that ended up in front of the Dunkin' Donuts. So it was two different locations as part of the accident report. That's why it was reported that way. I was just reading the narrative on that question you had from February.
Okay, thank you. I hadn't seen one like that before. But
No, that's fine. It looks like it was an ongoing incident that started in Holland Road in the corner of Holland and 20 and ended up in front of the Dunkin' Donuts on 20.
And Chief, I'm sorry that we can't give you the send-off that you deserve with the social distancing. We'll have to come back and have a party for you.
No worries. I'd look forward to that.
Okay, thanks, Chief. Stay safe.
Thank you. Be well.
Okay, next we have our Department of Public Works. Is Butch there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Butch. Yes.
Yes. You have my reports for February and March. February, nothing really different back then. That was pre-COVID. We were doing a little bit of organization in the garage, which is different, and we did manage to get new ceiling tiles in the office area, so we're looking much better over there now. And mechanics are beating up the garage and organizing, taking advantage of the winter days. A lot of tree damage and ice we had to deal with over the month. And then in March, pretty much the same thing, although we've moved into our COVID scheme of work, I guess you could call it. PPE was a problem for us. We were having trouble getting any because everybody was, as you know, was going after it, and we were having trouble. But now Veolia was very kind in keeping us up, and now we have a connection through the police department, and Barbara set us up so we can all go through the police department. So now we've got everything we need, and we even had one of the wives from one of our guys made up a dozen cloth masks and dropped them off over there. So we're doing good with that. And we're preparing for our summer paving. Hopefully we'll get out there and do some paving. We're picking roads and measuring and seeing what we need to do. Do you have any questions?
Any questions from the board?
I'm just wondering, do we when you said you didn't have the PPE that you needed, but now you do, which is a good thing, obviously. Do we have any protocol in place for our essential employees to take their temperature, like when they first enter the building for work? I know that's been talked about on the news. I don't know if that's something you considered, Butch.
I think that's going to be a future thing from what I'm seeing. We don't have anything now. I mean, certainly would use it if we had it. I actually went and looked for one for my own family, and I couldn't find anything in the pharmacy because those were all sold out also. But yeah, if we could get it, wouldn't it be better here when we swap shifts to make sure that everybody's not coming in with something?
Right. I think it's something that we should look into as a town. It's a very easy thing to do, and I know a number of businesses are contemplating doing that once they're able to work again.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a main protocol from what I'm seeing.
Butch, I noticed that you did in March stage 1 training on the gas pumps. That's for the vapor recovery inspections and that sort of thing.
I just missed the first part of the question, Michael. First part?
Stage 1 training for the gas, for the fueling systems.
Exactly. Yes, we got a notice that. Yeah, that was for. I got Bierman to come down and train our guys because we're supposed to do a weekly inspection. It's been pending since 2015, and apparently we haven't been doing it. But we're now trained and we can do the weekly inspections.
Very good. That's what I like to see.
Anything else from the board? Anything else for us, Butch?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Butch, I do have one question. I can't remember what it was I was reading, but they were talking about a water line replacement on Maple Street.
Yes, we have an article for that, for the engineering for that. We've had at least 4 breaks in the last 5 years up there, and we just need to replace that water line. It's the old, Mike would know, the old transite, the old asbestos pipe, and it's just been a nightmare. And I hate to pave the street before we do that because we'll just be digging up new pavement. So we've got some money in the an article for engineering, and then we'll get that done, and then we'll have to replace that line, and after that we can pave the street.
Oh, okay, thanks. I'm just a couple of weeks ahead, I guess. Anything else for us? Okay, thank you, and stay safe.
Thank you. Yep, you too.
Okay, next we have action items. The first one is to accept the donation of personal protective equipment from OFS and FlexCon of Spencer to the Sturbridge Fire Department. OFS donated 500 surgical masks, 13 large chem suits, 25 extra large chem suits, 15 3X large chem suits, and 8 4X large chem suits. FlexCon donated 100 face shields. Okay, is there a motion then to accept the donation? So moved.
I'll move to accept the donations of personal protective equipment from OFS and FlexCon to the Sturbridge Fire Department.
A second? Yes?
Once again, I
Thank you very much.
apologize for repeating this, but we need a name of who's making the motion and a name of who's making the second, please, and a roll call vote.
Okay, Mike made the motion. And who made the second?
Did somebody second it?
I'll second it.
Mary Dowling?
Mary Dowling.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, how do you vote? Me? Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Philip? Yes. Mike?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Karen?
Mary?
I know the fire chief sent thank you letters to both businesses, But I'm thinking perhaps Jeff could send one on behalf of the Board of Selectmen as well. I think that's a generous donation that they gave at a very critical time. I don't know how whether
No,
to feel.
Oh, no, I was going to suggest that after I read the fire chief's donation. Okay. Jeff, did you get that, though?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have one, if I may, Madam
Yeah.
Chair. There was one other donation to the fire department that came in after the packet was done, and I emailed this out to you all. It was 200 disposable surgical masks from Mark Proman at Ocean State Job Lot. Can I get a motion to accept those as well, please?
So moved. Priscilla?
Is there a
Mike.
second?
Mike
Second.
Supranat, second.
Okay, any discussion? Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Priscilla,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I vote yes. And also a letter to them, Jeff, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because the FlexCon donated 100 face shields to the Sturbridge Fire Department. Okay, do we have a motion to accept that?
I think we already did it. Didn't Mike
No,
do a
we did.
combination?
We did those FlexCon ones. He did
Oh, I'm
the,
sorry. I thought he did. I thought he did it for OFS and Flexicon.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
okay, I lose track. Thank you. Okay. Okay, next we have a request to concur with the appointment of Earl Desert as interim chief of police for the Sturbridge Police Department. Jeff, do you have anything to say on that?
Thank you, Madam Chair. With the impending retirement of Chief Ford and the recruitment of the police chief expected to take several months, we will need to appoint someone, the interim or acting chief of the department. Earl Desert has certainly earned that opportunity, and I could not think of a better person today to serve as interim chief of the Sturbridge Fire or Police Department. So I'm asking for concurrence of his interim appointment effective May 13th, 2020.
Okay, is there a motion?
Mary, can I ask a question?
Sure.
That will still enable him to apply for the position of permanent chief, will it not? It won't stop it.
It will not stop it.
Okay. All right. So moved, Mary. I make the motion then to appoint him, Earl Desert, as acting police chief.
I'll second that. With
Mary, that was Mary Dowling.
Mary Dowling.
How do you vote, Mary?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Priscilla,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Mary, I've got a follow-up on that.
Okay, Mary?
I was also thinking of going into this meeting that we need to appoint a new emergency management director as well.
Yes,
Because Chief Ford, carried both roles. I don't know, Jeff, if you've been contemplating that, but that's something that we need to do.
probably, and you have another opportunity at your May 4th meeting to do that before Chief Ford retires.
Okay. So that's good. Are you going to come with a recommendation? I just want to say for the record that I think Lieutenant Desert is a great choice for acting interim chief. But also in terms of emergency management, I know that the Chief Grasso has done a tremendous amount with his COVID planning, and I think he would also be a good choice. So that's just a suggestion, but we will have another opportunity to appoint somebody at that time.
Okay?
Okay, did we vote?
I think so.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have a request to accept the resignation of James Causes as a full-time police officer from the Sturbridge Police Department, effective April 30th. Your motion?
So moved, Priscilla.
Second, Chase.
Okay, I skipped C, sorry. So we need to go back to that, to accept the agreement for COVID-19 isolation/quarantine location. Does anybody have a question on that? We've all read through it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is there somebody willing to make a motion then?
Chase, approve the agreement with Comfort Inn effective April 10th, 2020 for locations for isolations, quarantine of town employees, first responders.
For a second?
Second, Priscilla.
Okay, any discussion? Mike, how do you vote?
Yes.
Priscilla?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. Now I'm in order again. Okay, action item E, to concur with the appointment of Jane Kozis as part-time police officer with the Sturbridge Police Department, effective May 1st, 2020. Before I take a motion on that, I did mention to Jeff, and I don't know if Tom Ford's still with us, but years ago, even before Tom Ford was our police chief, we had several part-time police officers, and then it was the choice to just totally have full-time, fully trained professional officers. And I know a couple of times during the years we have voted for part-time. But before I would be able to vote on this, I would actually like to see what the job description is for a part-timer and what it entails. Also, to put it bluntly, I was not too impressed with Mr. Kozis' letter of resignation. So, somebody wants to make a motion one way or the other.
Chief Ford, are you still on the call, Chief Ford?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And I can speak to, Mary, you're absolutely correct. During Chief Button's tenure initially upon his hire, we had double digits of part-time officers, where a majority of them just worked details, and we hardly had any of them working any patrol shifts. And Chief Button at the time did keep one part-time position open. The job description for that part-time position, police officer, is the same as the full-time police officer. And for the level of professionalism and expertise, we kept that single position open, and we always filled it with someone who meets the full-time qualifications. So it has to be a police officer that's full-time certified and has also been vetted. And Mr. Codges went through our process. He originally had put in for the part-time position when we were going through our initial interview process to fill one vacancy for full-time. And when we suddenly had another vacancy open, I convinced him to come in with us on a full-time basis, which he did, and it didn't work out for him. He had 23 years with the Connecticut State Police, a decorated career down there. He's been with the Stafford, Connecticut Police Department now, and it fits more into his life than he thought Sturbridge would. However, he doesn't want to leave Sturbridge, would like to stay with us and provide services to us at a part-time level, and my recommendation would be that we've already committed to him through psychological testing, physical testing, uniforms, and training to get him on board. I think he'd be an asset in his capacity with his experience and knowledge to to the Sturbridge Police Department, and his focus is more on working patrol shifts than it is on details or anything else like that. So I would strongly recommend him for the position of part-time. I think he's well suited for it and well certified.
Tom, do you have offhand, well, you don't have a report, but how often is the part-time officer used?
Well, I don't have that statistical data for you right now, Mary, because unfortunately, every time we have someone in that position, we seem to have a vacancy that we have to fill, and we have to wait till the next cycle of full-time interviews to fill it again. This time we didn't. We actually advertised for the part-time position. That's when we came across Mr. Codges. And however, we are short. I'll be hopefully coming before the May 4th meeting to recommend the appointment of 2 individuals full-time. And currently we are short not only those 2, but we also have Officer Patterson, who's deployed until at least October. And so I'm hoping that Mr. Codges will fill at least 1 shift per week, if not more, however his schedule allows, in order to pull up some of the slack of missing Officer Patterson from our ranks, as well as these 2 new officers having to go through several weeks of field training before they're going to be released on their own. So with his knowledge of our department and with his experience and almost being completed with this field training program, he's certainly going to be an asset to us of filling in that gap where we have the shortages now.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Someone want to make a motion one way or the other? Mary?
Based on I understand Mary's concerns, but based on the circumstances and Chief Ford's really glowing recommendation in terms of investing in this officer already, I'll make the motion to appoint James Codges, mispronouncing it, to the position of part-time police officer effective May 1st, 2020 at his current grade and pay.
Second, Priscilla.
And Mike, how do you vote?
Mike, we didn't hear that.
Recommendation was no. The recommendation was just to accept the resignation and not to appoint. So how can I vote? Because it's got 2 parts to it.
No, my motion is we already accepted the resignation.
We already accepted his resignation.
We voted on that? Okay.
Yes, we did. This is only to appoint him as a part-time officer.
Well, that was not the recommendation.
I didn't hear.
That was not the I gotta. Was that the recommendation of the town administrator or not?
Yes.
I do have to say, I think that you voted on his resignation.
Yes, that was my mistake, Mike. I had skipped over the, what letter? There are 2 separate motions. We already voted on the one to accept his resignation, and then we went to the Codeside Hotel agreement, and now we're at the recommendation to appoint this gentleman as a part-time police officer.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was on the
That's
wrong.
okay.
I was on the wrong. Yes.
So
I voted yes. I'm sorry for. I was on the wrong page.
Yes.
that's okay. Welcome to the class. Tell us as you're okay.
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
And I vote no. Okay. Next on the agenda.
Mary? Mary, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, Andrea?
I guess I missed who voted for that resignation. I didn't
Everybody
realize.
recommended.
No,
Well,
the resignation you didn't
Oh,
vote
no, the
for.
resignation was unanimous.
Okay, do you know who made the motion? Or, I mean, I just didn't know you were making that motion when you were doing that, and then you went back to the COVID, and I didn't realize you had made a motion. on the
Okay,
resignation.
so why don't we do it again then? I'll make a motion
Okay.
to accept the resignation. Priscilla?
Okay.
I'll second it, Chase.
Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chase,
Yes.
Philip,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Sorry. Now we have a request to accept, acceptance of a donation to the senior center. It was $40 from Sharon McDonald for the food pantry, Stop and Shop gift cards, $60 from Bruce Smith, Stop and Shop gift card, $500 from Country Bank for general necessities, $500 from Tri-Community Exchange for general necessities. Is there a motion then to accept the donation?
So moved. Priscilla?
Second, Chase.
Okay, any discussion? Mary, how do you vote?
Yes, with gratitude.
Mike,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Chase,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
there are a couple of other donations that came in this afternoon. There's $225 from Linda Pelletier of Brookfield for gift cards to Stop and Shop and to Shaw's. And then there was a anonymous donor of $1,200 for different food opportunities for families in need. So if we could accept those two donations for the senior center as well, $225 from Linda Pelletier and $1,200 from an anonymous donor. Please.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved. Priscilla?
Second, Chase.
Okay, any discussion? Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Priscilla,
Yes.
Chase,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
And I know it's already on the recommended action, but letters of appreciation for those as well.
Of course.
Okay, next, under old business, we have COVID-19 update. Jeff?
Thank you, Madam Chair. An update on COVID-19. Some of this we've covered already, but I'll just go ahead and repeat for the sake of making sure I cover everything in my report. According to the Board of Health, there are 5 active COVID cases in town. Cumulatively, the number being reported is 17. The Board of Health has hired school nurses that are working on off-school hours to do contact tracing, and I think that's worked out well for the board. I sat in on their Board of Health meeting last week, and they were progressing very well with getting new people on board to do some of that work. There's no active cases among the town's essential employees at this time. The police and fire departments continue operations as normal, except for some administrative functions and access to the lobby at the Department of Public Safety. Supplies of personal protective equipment are adequate at this time. Donations and purchases of PPE have been received. The Council on Aging continues to service seniors and collaborate with other agencies of support for other members of the community. Some staff work from home, making contact with the seniors and coordinating resources, while Director Wong and others get the necessary food or medicine in the hands of those in need. Other support, such as broadcasting of exercise videos, has taken place for the seniors or any other member of the community who wish to watch at home. The Department of Public Works is on a split shift schedule to keep the employees separate and reducing the possibilities of contaminating the entire department. Boards and commissions have begun to meet remotely. So far, the Board of Selectmen, Planning Board, Recreation Committee, Board of Health and Finance Committee have all had remote meetings. As of noon today, Governor Baker has announced that schools in the Commonwealth will be closed for the rest of the academic year. Most administrative personnel are working from home with periodic days in the office. The town clerk's office is staffed every day. The Recreation Department continues to reach out to the community to provide activities and positive experiences for the residents. Please visit the Sturbridge Recreation Facebook page for a list of activities, and we are cross-posting that on other Facebook pages and web pages that we have. We continue to provide information to the business community on opportunities for assistance from the federal government and the Commonwealth. A new package was passed this afternoon of roughly $450 billion. We hope that can help replenish some of the assistant funding that businesses weren't able to get access to since it was consumed so quickly. One other COVID issue, or not COVID issue, information for the board. The federal government passed, and I mentioned this at the last meeting that I was getting more information on this. The federal government passed the Families First Act, which is basically an amendment to the Family Medical Leave Act. And it has three components. The first component is basically the overall, it requires that municipalities and actually private employers as well provide paid leave for COVID-related issues. And those leave options or leave opportunities are segmented into three different elements. The first element is up to 80 hours of paid sick leave at the employee's regular rate of pay if the employee is quarantined and or seeking diagnosis due to COVID-19 symptoms. I think the board has already acted on this, and we are compliant in that if you are out for COVID-19 issues, you are out, and it's not, we're paying you and you're not using your accumulated leave. The second element is 2 weeks, 80 hours of paid sick leave at 2/3 the employee's regular rate of pay because the employee is unable to work due to a bona fide need to care for an individual subject to quarantine or whose school or child care provider is closed or unavailable for reasons related to COVID-19. The Commonwealth is allowing child care to continue, child care operations to remain open for essential employees. So in this instance, we don't have anybody that's applicable, but the board has also said if you need to be out for COVID-19 issues to care for a child, again, we are paying you for that time. So we are compliant in that action, but we are not capping it at the 2/3 at this time. And then the final element is up to 10 additional weeks of paid expanded family and medical leave at 2/3 the employee's regular rate of pay, where an employee is unable to work due to a bona fide need for leave to care for a child whose school is closed or child care provider is closed or unable for reasons related to COVID-19. We don't have anybody utilizing this 10 weeks of pay. Because the child care for essential employees is still open, and we are allowing employees to work from home, we don't have anybody accessing this paid leave at this time. The Act does allow municipalities to exempt from the Act and exempt from the paid leave opportunities first responders. I am not recommending the town do that. I think we are applying best practices at this point and taking these items up on a case-by-case basis. I'm not recommending the town take any action to exclude anybody from this particular federal act. It's not an issue for us at this point. However, I will say this. We being the town and our staff, expect at some point FEMA will reimburse for COVID-19 issues, and actually we've been accumulating those expenses as we go. FEMA will only reimburse for 75%. So in the event we pay people on and above the 2/3 that are in the family medical leave bill that was adopted, we would expect reimbursement for those expenses to be capped 75% of the 2/3 cost. So there will be an element we don't get reimbursed for. Given the reduced access, or actually really no one's accessing this leave at this time because childcare is still available, we don't have active cases, and we are allowing people to work from home, we don't anticipate that to be an issue. But just so the board knows that in the event of reimbursement, there will be limited reimbursement if hours such as this are tallied in the total seeking for reimbursement. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I did provide you some information. The bill is very complex, but it is pretty basic in terms of, you know, if you're sick, stay home. If you get someone to care for, stay home. If you need to care for a child, stay home. And I think the board has supported that in its past actions over the past 5 weeks. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions from the board? Okay, thank you, Jeff. Next, under new business, as I had mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, town administrator's review, we will be doing that at our first meeting in May. We came across a few glitches. Okay, then under new business also, Jeff, when will we have the first copy of the warrant articles?
Andrea, where are you with the warrant articles?
Right now, I gave them to you. That's all I have. I don't have an update on the ball field lighting, but I think that would be the only one I would know about to add to what I have already sent to you.
I would hope to get them to the board by the end of the week.
Okay, because we'll have to set up a meeting to go over them.
Is it possible to, yeah, is it, I know that planning leaves their packets in a new trash barrel in the back of the building. Is it possible to do something like that for us with the warrants items?
I can actually deliver those to your homes if you would like. It's not that inconvenient.
You don't need to do that. I mean, I don't want to add that to you. I was just wondering if you just put them in that barrel.
That's a good idea. Then we can just swing by and get them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that Jeff should be doing deliveries. I appreciate the offer. I do appreciate the offer, but I know planning has them, and there were other packets in there when I picked that up the other day. And I just thought it would be a great way for us, if we want hard copy, to just get it out of the barrel.
Okay, we'll make sure they're in the barrel, and we'll do that for the Board of Selectmen packets as well.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
We'll send out a text or an email letting you know
Not
they're available.
Thank you.
Not a deep barrel, is it?
It is deep. It's a good sized trash barrel. It's pretty deep, but you can access it easily enough. It's not like a 50-gallon container.
Well, I'll go and hold Mary's seat, and she can hold mine.
Yeah, I think, Mary, I think you could even reach it.
Oh, thanks. If I don't show up for a week or so. Okay, but Jeff, think about when we should be setting up a meeting, probably maybe the end of next week, for the warrant articles, to go through them first draft.
Very good.
Okay, how's everyone's schedule? You can let Andrea know when you're available or not available, okay?
FinCom.
I'm sorry, I missed available for what?
To go over the warrant articles?
Okay, we're doing that in a separate meeting?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I missed
Waiting.
that.
I mean, it's the first draft, Mary. We'll no doubt have,
Yeah, that's fine.
okay?
FinCom's meeting Thursday, so unless you want to do it Friday night, I would recommend Wednesday.
How's Wednesday sounds to people?
Or the following Monday, we can do that too.
That's our regular meeting, isn't it?
No.
No, we don't meet till 2 weeks.
Isn't that May 4th? So it's next Wednesday, the 29th. The
Yeah.
following meeting, the following Monday,
Oh, you're
our
right.
meeting.
Yep, you're right. It'd be the
We're
4th.
talking about this week.
No. We're looking at the 29th Wednesday.
Right.
Or you can do it early on your meeting or you can do it prior to your meeting on the 4th. You can come in early like you did for the budget and work the warrants before your regular meeting. It's up to you.
Well, even if we did it this coming Monday, it's out of the way.
Okay, I'll see if I can.
Board feels.
and see if I can get those turned around quickly. So,
But that gives us what, from Friday? The week gives us the weekend to look at it.
Right. You'd like more time, Priscilla, right, because you have all that other,
Yeah, I'd like the Wednesday better.
okay.
I'm available
Hey,
next Wednesday.
Hey, Wednesday then. We can do it. 6.
6?
White House, 6.
Okay, that's Wednesday, the 29th. I'm good.
Okay.
6:30?
6.
6, okay.
Cases are good for you?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, any other new business, Mary?
No,
Okay,
No.
Ella,
No.
Mike?
No?
I don't have anything else. We have correspondence.
Was there any correspondence in the packet? Because I went from the last item to the minutes and I didn't see anything in between, so.
I don't have anything either.
I didn't see anything
Yeah,
either.
We don't have any.
It makes it easy, Mike.
Oh,
Okay. We have approval of minutes of April 6th. Anybody have any corrections,
I
deletions?
guess that's
Mary?
just 2 small ones. Andrea, on page 96, under old business, the second paragraph that starts Vice Chair Dowling, about halfway down, the sentence ends, to disclose the information on the number of COVID-19 positive cases, and and requested that the town administrator share the opinion with other board members. And requested that the town administrator. And then just one other thing on page 97 at the top.
Can you repeat that time? Does it go at the end of that sentence?
Yeah, it's just added. Yeah, the sentence starts. She also stated that she requested Mr. Bridges to reach out to town council. And then instead of just add the phrase, and requested that the TA share the opinion with other board members. Okay?
Yes, but I just want to be sure you mean to just add that at the end of the sentence. It says, to disclose the information on the number of COVID-19 positive cases and request that the town administrator share the opinion with other board members.
Yeah, because it starts off that that's what I'm asking town council about, and then I just want it shared.
Okay.
So the sentence flows. And then the only other place is on page 97. It's the second line. It says, Vice Chair Dowling wondered if the police could work with the Board of Health to monitor the parking lots of hotels. Can you insert to ensure that the governor's order is being enforced? And scratch the rest of that sentence, which reads, and stop people with license plates from other states. Because I actually didn't want that. I just saw license plates in hotels. So after the word hotels, you're adding to ensure that the governor's orders are being enforced.
Yep.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Okay, Andrew, I just have a tiny apostrophe that's missing on page 96. Under old business, the end of the second line, it said one board members. It should be apostrophe S on members.
Oh, members evaluation form?
Yep. Apostrophe S, because it's just one member. Anyone else have anything?
Yeah, on page 96, about halfway down under discussion, after the motion on the temporary hiring, it says Selectman Supranat stated that the town had contracts with mutual aid. Actually, I did mention mutual aid, but I also was concerned about the union contract. So if you could put "and the union" or something like that after mutual aid. Put
Okay.
mutual aid and the union.
Got it.
Okay, anything else? Is there a motion to approve as amended?
So moved. Priscilla?
Second, Jason.
Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Ella,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, now we do have citizen forum, so we could maybe give a minute to see if anyone's going to call in.
All right, hold on, let me check. Hello, is there anyone on the call? Hello, is there any member of the public on the call? All right. There doesn't seem to be anybody, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Okay,
And there's no email comment either.
thank you. Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Priscilla?
Second, Chase.
Any discussion? Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Ella,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay,
Well done. Well
went better
done.
tonight.
That was awesome.
Much better.
Great job.